Hi. I want to talk to you about my son, Eric. Um, Eric had some difficulties growing up. Um, he was born at with a disadvantage. He didn't have a father figure. The father figure that he did have was abusive, an alcoholic, and, and a bad role model. He didn't really see his children, and every child is affected differently by the lack of a father figure. From the time that Eric was young, this is my cat, Jessie, he had struggles. He had struggles in school. I would get calls from the principal. He would take apart his desk. I would take him to doctors. They put him on medications. And it was very tough for Eric and for the family and for me as his mother, basically raising him by myself. There was no guidebook to, figure out how to raise this child. And it was a struggle and a challenge every day. I mean, Eric would do some things that were, sometimes he would hurt me, sometimes he would hurt his sister. I think the medications that they put him on didn't work. The schools would call me up and say, we don't want him at our school. Homeschool this child. And I said, no. No way. I mean, no child left behind, first of all. And I didn't want him to be a statistic. He's been to juvie several times for different things that he did when he was younger. When he was about 12, he liked to go around the neighborhood sometimes and dig through the garbage and see what he could find, and he apparently found a pocket knife. He brought the pocket knife to school, and because of 9/11 and zero tolerance, he took the pocket knife out of his pocket and was showing it to a kid who was actually bullying him. Eric was arrested, and he went to juvie for 4 months. That was really tough. I went to go visit him, weekly. They have a no touching policy where you see your child and you sit at a table across from them. And you can call them and you can visit them and see them, but you can't touch their hand or give them a hug or anything like that. He was 12. I thought that was cruel and unusual punishment. I mean, I think it was harder on me than it was for him. I've got the ugly cry going. I've got the ugly cry when my nose starts to turn red. But anyway, he was going to a special school for kids with behavior problems, and I remember having a meeting with them, and I had to go in front of the school board, and they were all basically saying to me, we want to expel your child because of this infraction, because of this incident with the pocket knife. And I said, give the kid a break. He's going to be a statistic. He's done one thing that's terrible. Was it awful? Yes. Was it acceptable? No. But he paid the price for it. He went to juvie for 4 months. Couldn't go to school. He had to be frisked every day, basically every time he came to school. So he learned his lesson. And after that, he started to transition from the behavior school to a regular high school. And at one point, they asked him, and they said, Eric, you're going to 9th grade. You can go full-time to the regular school now. You don't have to go to the behavior school anymore. And Eric said, no, I will go half-time to the behavior school and half-time to regular school and transition. So he had to take 2 buses, one bus to get to the first school, then he hopped on another bus to get to the regular school and finish out his day in high school. And a lot of times he couldn't even get lunch. And that was his choice to do that. So he chose the harder path. And ever since then, he got it. He had his light bulb moment. All of those things that he had done, he did some terrible things, and I think he knows that. But that doesn't define who he is. He's a good person. Eric turned his life around. He signed up for football. He became an honor roll student. He graduated with honors and is now attending college. And he's studying to be a social worker so that he can help other kids who are struggling. And I'm so proud of him because it's not easy. It's hard enough to be in this world and just deal with social media and peer pressure and the media and hormones and everything else. And then to have, and we had money struggles, and I lost my house, and we had to live in a terrible townhouse that was like not a good place. And then him not having a father figure around. These are all things that were thrown his way, and not everybody reacts the same way to those things. So, having said all of that, Eric triumphed. Eric is not a statistic. If anything, he's a statistic to the positive. He is that rare statistic showing people that you can overcome your struggles. You can overcome your fears. You can overcome your history. You can overcome your genetics. You can overcome what you think is your destiny. And I'm so proud of him. He continues on every day. He's a good person. And he's come a long way. And I am trying to encourage him to be a motivational speaker. I know he's got it in him, and he's got a lot to share about what he's learned over the years. And I want everyone that is listening to this to realize that if you have a child who is struggling and they try to put labels on them and they try to kick him out of school and just medicate him or just basically, try to make them invisible and try to tuck them away and hide them away. You can't ever let people do that to your children because they have to learn. Kids have to learn from their mistakes, and they have to learn to how they can make it in this world. We're all trying to make it in this world every single day, and none of us are perfect. So I just want to say that I'm proud of my son Eric, and that I hope that other people will listen to his story and learn something. Thanks for listening.